I'm Mark, and I have a habit of very much picking my own direction in which to be curious.
Nice, okay. Do you do half pig's heads?
And seeing as I do quite a lot of this sort of nonsense,
And I don't know about you, but this just isn't working for me stylistically at all.
I thought I may as well video it and show you what on earth I think is a good idea. More specifically, I will be curing my own sausages, and I do this for two reasons. One, because I already have a cheese curing fridge, so I may as well. And two, this becomes a perfect opportunity to attempt to reinvent what I consider may have been the truest ancient Gloucester sausage. Step one, get the ingredients. Dishwasher! The next stage is to get the stuff and chuck it in a thing. This recipe is a nightmare. You have 27 grams of salt, 3 grams of the special other salt, and 3 grams of black pepper. This is my measuring system. And then I get combining. Cover the brain. Hide the brain in the fridge for a few hours, and then we bring on the germs. So with anything that you're curing like this, quite a lot of it is making sure that you have the right bacteria, because you're not cooking any of this, so there will be bacteria there, and so you just pump it full of the right stuff, and then it works better. Imagine a sourdough starter, only of pork. For some reason, my recipe, which I copied somewhere off the internet, doesn't include how much of the bacterial culture starter I need. So I'm going to add some. And while that stuff is doing its thing, I'm going to get out the pork torture toolkit that I have over here. So, I've washed all of this stuff now. Really, I should have sterilised it, but sorry, no, that's where that sentence ends. So this lot's awake now, so I just chuck him back in the brain, along with some alcohol. So we're now at the point where we stuff the pork mince into the casing, right? But this is really a two-person job, and it'll be a real faff if you don't know what you're doing. And I, even though I've done this before, but I still don't know what I'm doing. So what I have done is I've got a broom handle and I've duct taped it to the mechanism, right? And then I've duct taped an old pair of shoes that I really should have thrown away by now on the other end, so I can move it with my foot while sorting out the casings. This is the thing when people accuse me of being a hoarder, right? If when I didn't throw those shoes away originally, I had said, oh well, what if I want to use them to make a contraption to help me fill pork casings with duct tape and a broom handle, you'd have thought I'm mad. But here we are. You're also supposed to have like these elastic strings for tying off each of the sausages, which are all hygienic and whatnot, but I ain't got any of them, so I'm just gonna use some twine. Much less hygienic, but will probably add to the quantity of the flavour, even if not the quality. Right, well I've got everything set up now, so I think I can just start going and see what happens. I can think of at least half a dozen things that will go wrong here. Not can go wrong, will go wrong. So, let's see how this goes.
I'm not gonna lie, that went a lot better than I was expecting, and now we have some sausages.
So, I've weighed them and stabbed all of the air bubbles out of them. And then what I do is I put them on a little rack that I've made out of some coat hangers. You've got to make sure that there's air gaps between them. If there's any of them touching, that's where they'll go mouldy, because the air has to get around them. But then what I noticed in my own recipe is that it says to incubate them for 12 hours, which I assume means keeping them in a warm place for 12 hours. So I'll just hang them up in the kitchen, I suppose. I'm sure my housemate will be fine with it. These stay like this for 12 hours, and then I put them in the cheese fridge for about 2 weeks. Tune in for when I taste them and see what on earth they'll do to me.